everyone, welcome to another episode of Shift Talks. I'm your host Paige, and today we're going to be talking the future of fashion journalism. If you're new to Shift London, welcome, and if you're a regular listener, welcome back. Shift London is an online platform run by the fashion journalism and content creation cohort at the London College of Fashion, where we cover all things fashion, student life, and London. Today, we're going to be talking to the fashion journalism students preparing to enter an ever-changing industry, alongside industry experts to discuss their thoughts on the future of fashion journalism. The fashion industry and journalism more specifically has always centred around the knack for fast-paced content, keeping up with the who's who of creative directors and ever-changing trend cycles. But in this social media obsession, the first piece of news doesn't come from, a traditional newsroom. It comes from someone filming a 15-second reaction video from the comfort of their own bedroom. Because of this shift, it means that an influencer with a ring light is given a press seat over a trained journalist who's learnt, decades worth of fashion history to get to that moment. So if you're a student or a graduate unsure on where your future career is headed, stick around. We do have a guest on our podcast today, but before we get to that, fashion journalism and content creation student Diana shared her thoughts around influencers such as Emma Chamberlain bagging these high-profile journalistic jobs that any of us, journalists would kill for. And this is what she had to say.
She has been on fashion shows and runways in Fashion Week, and great, that's great for her. But when did at one point for herself to be the journalist of the Met Gala when there's thousands of students, thousands and thousands, New York and the University of New York or LCF, CSM, and then none of them picked that?
Diana's not alone in thinking this. When I sent out a poll to the fashion journalism cohort, 100% of people who answered the survey agreed that they had the same fear that fashion journalists would lose their jobs to influencers. When thinking about what caused this shift in the media landscape, I spoke to Maddie Reid, deputy editor at Bricks magazine, and here's what she had to say. I'm going to read what she said. We feel less trusting of elements of capitalism and big corporations. We think of all the scandals, news of the world, and all these big things that happened when I was young. Because of this, there was a lot of mistrust with tabloid journalism. She goes on to say, because that trust started to break between traditional media and younger readers, I think what has replaced that is people speaking outside of those bigger corporations. So, as Maddie explains, the breakdown of trust with bigger corporations has opened a door to more independent voices from influencers and content creators. After hearing from industry experts and the fashion journalism cohort, for the second half of this episode, I'm joined by fashion journalism and content creation student Mara to discuss the first-hand experience she gained this summer when interning. Hi Mara, thank you for joining
Paige,
me.
and hi listeners.
How are you?
All good, thank
Good.
you.
If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Mara and I'm studying at London College of Fashion and I'm studying fashion journalism. And I got my experience with the industry in this September.
And was this the first time you interned in industry, or did you have some experience before this year?
I would say yes, first internship inside at least the fashion industry and the media industry. So yeah, I had an experience in PR, but we know it's a bit different.
A bit different to journalism.
Yeah.
So how did you find the internship? Did you have any weird experiences with influencers? Because obviously the focus of this episode is...
So my role at the internships was mainly on the social media side and a bit of writing for the magazine. But my meeting with influencers, I would say, in the industry has been at the London Fashion Week. I would say there's obviously a shift in the industry where from row you will see probably more influencers / content creators than media people.
And how does that make you feel as a journalist as well?
I'm worried. As someone who's studying fashion journalism, I'm a bit worried, but I would say you could see the shift also in the education system. My course is fashion journalism and content creation. I would say low-key, everyone knows that if you want to be a creative, you are also a content creator right now. The marketing is all online. So even if you're a writer and right now you're opening let's say a Substack, then you're going to do posts on Instagram or TikTok to promote your writing. So I would say probably we all end up being content creators at some point.
Which for me personally is something I do not want to do, as we say, sitting here podcasting right now.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, as I think a lot of the journalism course would agree, they want to be writers. And I think this shift is quite, you know, scary, especially when you have influencers, you know, getting all of these press opportunities. And we spoke previously about a influencer being given a press seat at Fashion Week over a journalist. Can you like walk me through what that experience was like?
I mean, we were like a bit shocked when it happened, but then we slowly understood that it's almost like normality right now. It's not something like, maybe because we were new in the industry and we didn't know how much this influenced everything, but I would say even outside fashion shows, when there are few spots available, if you're a content creator, you dress up very nicely or you have a good relationship with the PR outside, then it's probably you will get in very easily.
And like, as scary as it is, I mean, I do see there's good reason behind it, because I mean, as like a consumer as well as a journalist, it's, you know, when I'm shopping, I will be influenced by these influencers. Over maybe, you know, an article in Vogue or in Elle or like any kind of publication. I'm probably more likely to trust an influencer, even though we know that they're also being paid, like, you know, the magazines are by advertisers. For some reason, it still feels more real, and I think that's why so many brands like Sheerluxe, they've taken on the whole kind of like personal brand influencer / journalist role, which I think is so interesting.
I feel like the whole thing also comes from the fact that, like, are people reading? Like, are they? Because of course people are still reading. Substack is proof that people want long form written content, but we know it's not the majority of people. And at the same time, the fashion industry wants to be more inclusive. So I feel like content creators with a good following is a good middle ground for the people behind the industry to be like, here, like we giving up some space to normal people to show up to these events. And it's like cheap promo at the end of the day, because you are inviting like these creators, not even like AI list celebrities, so it's a bit different there. It's like influencer who are getting shots behind the scenes, or like celebrity spottings because you're outside, so you're taking pictures or videos of other celebrities, and everything is a buzz on the internet. So I feel like that's very unaffordable way of marketing for a brand during Fashion Week to promote themselves, which is already like expensive to do, especially for like, I don't know, London Fashion Week. They used more emerging designers, so I feel like for them that's a good way to have more spotlights on the brand.
And I also think it's easier to track kind of what success they get. So like, you know, I'm not sure how it normally works, but in my opinion, you know, you sell a magazine, right? You can track how many magazines are being bought, but how can you track how many people are buying a product from, you know, that spread that's been put in there, versus like, you know, you've paid an influencer, you can track exactly how many people have clicked on that link from their story or from their Instagram post, and you can track exactly how much money that post has made. And I think that that's also where the shift might be coming from, because it's just, you know,
it's
do you know?
It's gonna save you money. At the end of the day, that's all around the money. So I feel like
it's all about the money.
All
about the money. But I think it's a scary place as a journalism student. And like, you know, off the back of that experience, what would you kind of say the future of fashion journalism now looks like to you?
Oh, now it looks like more creator centric, if I may say. You won't be happy about like everyone should turn a content creator, but I feel like that's the way we're going. And we could see from like I think he's called Lias, Laes.
Okay, yeah.
The French guy who hosted the La Watch party in
Yes,
Paris.
for the fashion week.
Is a
Yeah.
content creator, but it's a good way to like convey everything what's happening behind the scenes of the fashion week. And I feel like Gen Z especially, they really don't want boring news out there, like uh, broadcasting news on TV. They want more like, oh, we're talking on FaceTime, on TikTok, and I'm telling you something that's happening in the fashion industry. And that's how I think our generation is getting information. At the same time, it's getting into more like spaces they like. It's more about like algorithm than anything else.
100%. I totally agree. And well, thank you for joining me
Of course,
today.
thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of this episode. If you enjoy what you heard, give us a follow on Instagram or YouTube, or check out our work on www.shift.london.org, where we've got fashion covered. Thanks for listening.